Yes. Welcome back to another stream. It is me and the New York boy. We've got New York boy
back.
View.
I'm back. I'm home. I'm back. Did you guys miss me? Because I missed you. I'm jet lagged. I'm tired, but I wanted to get back on the channel as soon as possible and see the community again. So yeah, listen, I'm buzzing to be back, man. I'm buzzing. What did I miss? I've only been seeing drips and drabs on Twitter and that kind of thing, time zones and that.
I was also seeing drips and drabs in Benidorm, innit? So I mean, we basically missed the whole Kovacic thing. Not too much of Kovacic because we kind of knew anyway. But everything to do with Declan Rice popping off, we kind of missed that, the whole thing. But obviously now that's over anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So really, we didn't happen really
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it didn't even happen. Nothing to even get excited about.
No. But no, I saw the Kovacic was done deal, and I saw the here we go. I've seen the announcement obviously today. The one that really caught my attention while I was away was Gundogan. Obviously, that's
Gundo leaving. Yeah.
That broke my heart. But the Declan Rice thing, like even when I was in New York, we weren't even really talking about transfers, so I didn't feel like I was involved. Like it was kind of just going over my head. I was seeing it, but because I wasn't in my own house, I wasn't streaming. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel legit. I was kind of like whatever. Yeah,
you kind of just pass it off on your way and you're busy. It's like you just got other things going on, haven't you?
Yeah.
But first things first, Sir Alan with a $7.99 says, "So glad we walked away from Rice. Rice is only worth £60 million, no more. Bang average player. City till I die." Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say that Rice is around a £60-70 million player. We were going to overpay for him. Arsenal have overpaid for him. But like I say, we have walked away from it, and you've got to kind of trust in City with the fact of the players that we've walked away from the past. Do you know what I mean? The Freds, Maguires, things like Koulibaly. Them situations where we've walked away, we've fared better off mostly. So I'm not too worried about the board walking away from Rice.
No, I mean, if you take it in isolation, you're kind of going, which is what the Arsenal fans are doing when they're kind of bantering us and beefing us about it, saying how we beat you Declan Rice. You're kind of like, oh, I would have liked to have got that. But I mean, I watched Big Steve on the football terrace this afternoon, and he had a really good chat with Terry there. And he says Steve himself did an interview with Gail Clichy. I think comes out tomorrow. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. Go and watch that, people, when it comes out, because I know that it'll be sick. But he says Gail Clichy told Steve that the Man City board are 5 transfer windows, ahead of everybody else in world football. 5 whole transfer windows, steps ahead. Like, if we miss out on a player in isolation, it's kind of a thing the board go, right, we'll move on to the next. I mean, we've done it, like you said, Maguire, Fred, Sanchez, Cucurella, and obviously they haven't worked out, so we can kind of laugh and say, ha, we missed out on a bad player. But we have missed out on good players. You know, we missed out on Virgil van Dijk. We missed out on Jude Bellingham, and we still fare okay. You know, we didn't get Van Dijk. We didn't panic. We didn't get Bellingham. We're not panicking. I think we are probably the one club in the world right now that when we don't get a priority or two, we don't need to panic. We really don't, because there's so many years of evidence now to suggest that the board will go out and find an alternative, and the alternative will work out perfectly fine. So am I stressing that we didn't get Declan Rice? No, but I'm not denying he's a top player either. I don't want Arsenal fans to think we're shitting on Declan Rice, because we're not. But I'm not arsed.
Yeah, like I kind of wanted him. I said yesterday that I did want Declan Rice. I was excited by the transfer and stuff like that, but I was intrigued to see how he'd fit in this City side. I said from the start he does look like an Arsenal signing, but I wanted to see Pep's plan for Rice. But in coming out today, that it's not like a be all and end all for me of the transfer window that we didn't get Declan Rice. I do think that we'll move on to someone else, and that's why we're doing this stream now, because City have now officially entered the race for Gabri Veiga, someone that we've spoke about quite a lot. Who does have a release clause. I think it's around £40 million, something like that. So we'll speak about that more in a minute. But yeah, I just think, like, you've got to trust the board. You just have to trust the way that it is. And it's always nice to not be the club that spent £100 million, like, for now. No, anyway.
I mean, if we were to have got the deal done for Declan Rice, we were overpaying, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, no,
and once again,
100%.
Arsenal fans who are really precious about this whole thing and just want to argue the whole time. Once again, this is not me shitting on your club or on Declan Rice. I think it's a fantastic signing. I think he's going to level Arsenal up. But it's just because of today's market, that anybody that was going to get him was going to have to overpay. He is a 50 to 70 million pound player. Anywhere in that region, that's the footballer that Declan Rice is. But because, like I said, of today's market, you have to pay way over the odds. English tax, international tax. He's just captained West Ham to a European trophy tax. So that was just a fact of the matter. And there is something quite admirable about the fact that our club are so stubborn on their own valuations. We don't just go, oh shit, we're about to miss out on this player, pull the trigger and offer them twice what we originally wanted to pay for. No, we say, right, if you're not going to accept what we're willing to pay, we'll walk away. We're happy to walk away. I think it shows a sign of a competent board when they're willing to walk away from a deal of a player that they actually wanted. I think it shows confidence. It shows like they know what they're doing. It shows lack of panic, and it shows sense of direction. So I'm actually, in a weird way, impressed. I was impressed when we walked away from other deals.
I trust the board more than I trust my own thoughts on players. Do you know what I mean? Cucurella, I wanted Cucurella. I was like, pay the extra money. I didn't expect it to go to 60 million, but now look at it. Like, City valued Cucurella at 35 million pound, and they weren't willing to go any further than that. And then Chelsea went and paid 60 million pound for him, and he didn't turn out to be all that.
Exactly. I mean, it's one of those ones. If City don't feel like, we know this, you guys know this. If City feel you're a certain valuation, we won't go over it. That's just it. That's bottom line. And we're not Real Madrid. We're not going to go and offer 150 million for a player that's worth 70 million. We're not going to go and offer 200 million for a player that's worth 100 million. And that's the way we operate. And the reason we have to be satisfied with that and happy with that is because of the success it's brought us. We cannot argue. The proof is in the pudding. We cannot argue with the strategy and tactics our club undertakes in the transfer market because it's shown nothing but success. I wouldn't be surprised if, yes, maybe we do go and get Gabri Veiga, but I wouldn't be surprised if we pull some player from South America or the Middle East or somewhere. No one's ever heard of, and he turns out to be class because it's not just about who we assess on today's market and all the names that are thrown around. You know fine well that this board has a scouting network of a list of players the size of my forearm that we don't even know about, that we're monitoring and keeping tabs on. You don't get to the success level that we have now without having a mastermind draw up of options to keep yourself sustainable. Mm-hmm. So missing out on Bellingham, it's not nice. We would have liked him. We move on to Rice. We don't get Declan Rice. It's not nice, but the board will say exactly what I just said. We'll move on to the next. We keep going. Yeah.
And that has happened very, very quickly. With us now interested in signing Gabri Veiga, like I say, £40 million is a lot cheaper than the £100 million that we would have had to pay for Declan Rice. This is coming from which was a source. Burrell's gone now as well, isn't he? Rodolfo Burrell, he's got off. It's Fabrizio before I said City had now entered the race for Celta Vigo's Gabri Veiga. The Spaniard is one option being considered after pulling out the race for Declan Rice. The player has a €40 million release clause. Like I said, one of the options being monitored. So there will be, obviously we know the way that we move, there will be multiple options that we're looking at for that midfield role that we're trying to fill. Teddy Music, yes, with a 10 month says, hey, what about Yangel Herrera? Is he the guy at Atletico? Is he Atletico? I don't know where he is. Or is it Girona? Oh yeah, is it Girona? I was thinking the other Herrera. I mean,
if he's at Girona, he's not going to play for City. He's not going to play for City.
It's not going to be a thing, innit?
You have to accept that there's a reason he's there and not here.
And he's 25 as well.
No.
So I think is he on loan? Is he on loan, or is he just? He could already be our player. Like, the man there says he's already our player.
Well, he kind of is our player if he's at Girona. Do you know what I mean? He
doesn't. So he's basically City signed him and loaned him out for a lot of time. I don't see
what you said about Veiga there. What was the report? He's one of our options. Who said this?
Fabrizio.
Fabrizio, he's one of our options, and I think that's something that people don't read into enough. When you see the way things are worded, one of our options.
One of the options.
You see the likes of Arsenal. Declan Rice was them. He was their one and only. They needed Declan Rice. They wanted Declan Rice. It's quite clear they had little or no alternatives if they were to fail on their pursuit of Declan Rice. Whereas Manchester City's it refers back to what I said 2-3 minutes ago. We have a list the size of my forearm of players that we could potentially pursue. And that's what gives me great confidence. This club is so tuned into way beyond the names that we talk about on social media and the names you guys will throw about in the chat. It's just the way our club works. And I really, really like it.
Yeah, it's good. And you've got massive forearms in it, so it must be a long list.
You know how I got these. You know exactly how I got these.
Oh.
Don't get naughty now. I meant lifting weights.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I thought so. Dylan Oliver with a 2 says, need a right wing. What's to say that we slapped 200 million on Mbappe? It's not going to happen. He's destined for Madrid. And Pep's already been speaking about it, actually. He did say that, everyone knows where he wants to be. Even though Mbappe keeps saying that he'll be at PSG next season. But PSG have to make a call on that, whether they risk losing him for free.
He's a chancer, Mbappe, man. I wouldn't even want to deal with him.
Crazy,
the way he moves, it's so snaky. Everything about the guy is so snaky. But listen, Mbappe going to Real Madrid, it only helps us. It only favors us. Haaland ain't going there. Haaland is not going to Real Madrid if Mbappe is there. I'll tell you that now for a fact. So they go and get Mbappe. You can rule out this whole business of City's a stepping stone for Real Madrid. I tell you that. It does not work for either of their brands. It's not within their interest for either of them to play together. They need to be the sole entity of whatever team they're at.
Yeah, it's good for both their media sides if they're fighting each other, just like the Ronaldo and Messi thing, innit?
Exactly.
It's good for the club. It's good for the player.
Messi and Ronaldo were never going to play together. It was not in their interest. It boosts both brands if they're rivaling each other for Ballon d'Ors, rivaling each other for top goal or golden boots, for trophies. So Haaland and Mbappe will remain the new Messi Ronaldo, but Haaland will be Man City. It'll be like Barca Madrid, but it'll be City Madrid.
Yeah. All right.
Buzzing.
Thomas Ridgeway with a 10 says, I feel like we're all trying to convince ourselves that Rice was the right move for the club. Gabri is the unknown factor, and I'd personally love to see either young Spaniards thrive under Pep. See another young Spaniard, thrive under Pep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about Gabri Veiga. I've not seen him too much. I know that I don't think he got into the Spain squad. I think I've seen someone say before that I think Sergio Gomez got in and he didn't. People are like, yo, what's going on here? But yeah, I think it's one that we'll have to, like Mr. Skies there says, it'll take time. But we'll have to see if that's who we do go for. I think you got to be patient with it and trust that he'll come good.
It'll be like Rodri. You know, we really, no one can claim to have been a Rodri expert when he was at Real Madrid. No one can claim to have been, I know this golden boy at Atletico Madrid that we're going to bring in, and also he took time. Like I say this regularly about Rodri. Rodri, when he first arrived, for at least the first 2 seasons, was nowhere near the animal he is now, and you have to give him time and patience. And this just shows why what Gail Clichy said to Steve is true. The City board are 5 transfer windows ahead of everybody else. We're getting these players in probably 5 transfer windows before they're really at their, financial peak, if that makes sense, in terms of what they're worth as an asset. I mean, Rodri, obviously, he's worth 3 times what he is now, or 3 times now what he was back then. So if Veiga is to work out, in my opinion, it would be a similar process. He'd come in, he probably won't, maybe, hopefully he does, but he probably won't, take European football by storm the first season or 2.
Yeah.
But if Pep stays and nurtures him kind of thing, he'll come good. And that's the way we work generally. All of our top players were like that. Gundogan, Bernardo, Cancelo, Kyle Walker, all these players were good players where they're coming from, but Pep, through a year or 2 of development, turns them into the best in the world.
Yeah, I mean, like even players like Kovacic, that they'll come and get better. I mean, he will. You know that they'll come here and they will get better. It's just the Pep effect, man. It's the Pep effect. Fahad with a 729 says City looks for personality before ability. I think personality is definitely a factor. Obviously, ability is still high up in there, but they do look at personality on all the players to make sure that they'll fit into the side and they don't have too much of an ego coming in and don't want to ruin that dressing room atmosphere. Benno with a 2 says Arsenal fans are saying Arteta now has bigger pull than Pep. I mean,
you funny, man. You funny.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like we pulled out. We pulled out. Crazy. Yeah. Dylan with a 2 says no Mbappe versus Haaland. It'll be Haaland versus Oscar Bob. Andy Oliver, yes, has just become. He's just rejoined the Xtra Club. Yeah, Oscar Bob apparently is going to take place in our team. I can see you in the chat as well saying pause.
He's just got himself into the Norway first team, I believe, Oscar Bob, hasn't he?
Has he? That's sick.
I'm pretty sure he has. He's got himself into the Norway first team, and he's obviously a top prospect. So I'm excited for him too. I mean, any youth player that finds himself in our first team, they've got something about them. Now for him, it's a question of whether he can take that Phil Foden, direction kind of thing of just keep
the rise to the team, like, and then not getting
keep ascending,
out,
keep ascending.
Yeah. Something that I've just seen then, Arsenal have now announced Kai Havertz. That's something that I completely missed when I was away as well. I feel like that went like this. And apparently Chelsea are moving on Moise Caicedo and what's it called? Trying to set. LB said before, right, that the Mason Mount deal is dead. The Mason Mount deal to United. But I just seen a thing from Jake and Steinberg, a Chelsea fan put in the chat about Jake and Steinberg that they're still trying to sell him to United.
It's not dead. I don't know. I saw that earlier on, and he said LB said it died like 4 days ago. So United put in a new bid like 2 days ago.
Yeah, so God knows. To be fair, Pet Merchant, you were saying before it's not dead. But yeah, maybe I was just seeing something else. But yeah, that's the other things that I've literally just seen there that I've not seen.
I still don't think, even with Declan Rice and Kai Havertz, I don't think Arsenal challenges next season. I really don't. I think the one to worry about is Liverpool. I really do. I think Liverpool.
Oh,
my God!
You're muted. Carry on. You're not muted now.
I don't know. This new Vito thing is messing with my head. You know that?
Yeah, it's messing with my head, bro. Yeah, you were muted for like a second, bro. Carry on. What were you saying?
I think Liverpool are the team to worry about next season. Essentially,
I think Liverpool will be back. Yeah. I think they'll ball start midfield and then they'll be back. 100%.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is why I don't want us to just wait on this. I think you got to keep moving, innit? When you're at the top of the game, you don't just stay still. You got to keep moving. You got to keep refreshing that squad. And obviously, we've got quite a lot of players who are rumoured to be leaving. Obviously, Laporte going to be leaving, and we're going to be getting Gvardiol in. Now the focus has turned to Gvardiol, which is good. Get that deal over the line as soon as possible. Now that we've got Kovacic already done, and then we can look at this Gabri Veiga deal or look at another midfielder. Explore our midfielder options now, which I think will get a lot more links in the next few days because the club don't like the look of having to just walk away from like a main target like that. So a lot of journalists were getting pushed information from the club of who we're looking at, who we're interested in. Keeps the fans happy.
Yeah, I think people need to just stay calm. I mean, it's still so early in the transfer window, and I'm seeing people panic because there's movement happening elsewhere, and Gundogan's gone, and other clubs are signing X and Y. We need to just stay calm, and I mean, throughout this whole transfer window, you'll keep hearing from me, and I'm sure you'll say it too, is you just have to trust them. You really just have to trust. They know what they're doing, man, because we have absolutely no reason not to. United fans can say we don't trust what's happening because their club has been a mess for 10 years. Other clubs, Chelsea, can say maybe they don't trust what's happening because Todd Bowley hasn't shown enough competence. But we, stand alone, can trust exactly what our board are doing. We can trust every move we make and that the timing is right as well. We know from previous transfer windows, we just won't rush into signings unless it's perfect for us, unless it perfectly fits us. We won't rush into it. So stay calm and see what happens.
But by the way, Gabri Veiga, stats in the chat from Brian has said Veiga's 15 goals and assists in 26 Liga starts. That's it.
Who is it he plays for again? Is it Celta Vigo?
Celta Vigo, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie and say I know a huge amount about him, but if the club want them, I want them.
Yeah, that's it. Mohammed with a 2 says Arsenal fans are celebrating a transfer like a trophy. I mean,
yeah, man, that bigger fish to fry. It turns out it wasn't the league.
Rice, yeah.
They wanted the we signed Declan Rice trophy. So there they go. They have their climax.
Yeah, they got that. If you had to name a midfielder, if you had to, you got a pick of the realistic targets. I don't really know who the realistic targets are. Who would you sign? Obviously you can't say
Right. So
Declan Rice.
if Cheeky's handing me the PS5 controller and I've got the screen in front of me,
Is that how you control it? No, you get
that's how he does it, man. Yeah.
yeah.
He does it on PS5, but I would say I don't think we will, but I would say ring up those Bayern boys and say, right, how can we make a Kimmich deal happen?
I like the move for Kimmich. It's just, can he play that further forward role, like Gundo role?
I think he can. I think he's such a good footballer that he could under Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, I think Kimmich would be sick.
I'd be looking to make that happen.
Dylan,
I don't think they will.
You just pick a remember, yes, Dylan. He's just put Mason Mount in the chat, and LB had a big say for Mason Mount before. A big say. He was full sending Mason Mount. Like the Mason Mount deal for me personally doesn't give me good vibes. It's not the vibes that I was ever thought I'd be looking at. But when he was speaking about his stats, they do look all right. They did look all right. But if it just doesn't feel right.
No, it doesn't feel right. In theory, in theory, in the right universe for Mason Mount, under the right coach, in the right team, right place, right time, I could see Mason Mount having a Gundogan role somewhere, being that kind of player for a team, right setup, right manager, like all that kind of thing. But it just doesn't feel right for us. He definitely needs to leave Chelsea. He needs to go somewhere where the setup is right for him. He's in the right system and that kind of thing, but not for us. I mean,
his stats this season, he played 35 games, 3 goals and 6 assists. But before pre that, he was actually doing mint. 53 games, 13 goals, 16 assists. I mean, and then before that, if it loads, he got 9 goals and 9 assists in that one. But for me, I don't know, man. I see him at United just the same way that I seen Declan Rice at Arsenal. That feels like a United transfer. The Mason Mount deal feels like a United transfer. The Rice deal felt always like an Arsenal transfer. I don't really know what player I can look at and see in our midfield. I think I've just got too used to it. I've got too used to what we've got. Would you take? Sorry, bored with this. I was literally just about to say this. He says, I see a lot of people talking about Frankie de Jong. Please leave him alone. Our squad is already fucked enough. We can't replace him with our financial problems. I was literally just about to say Frankie de Jong because a lot of people mention Frankie de Jong in the chat all the time.
I could see him in a City shirt, yeah. I could see Frankie de Jong playing for Pep.
Yeah, I could see him in that role.
But I think he's on big cash, or he's cash.
He's on big wage. He's on like 400 grand a week or something. So he'd want mega cash, and City ain't gonna offer him that. And plus, I think he stays. He's gonna stay there. It's not a realistic move.
No, it's not. I think there's more reality to Kimmich than Frankie de Jong. I don't think it'll happen, but I just think that if we press the button with Bayern, we could maybe make it happen.
We could make it happen, yeah, make it work.
Because the vibe I get from him is he wants a new challenge, or he'd like a new challenge. So if Pep spoke to him, he knows Pep well. Pep made Kimmich essentially the beast he is. Mm-hmm. Maybe he'd be up for a reunion there. When you said what player could you see playing for Man City, like in a City shirt in our system, I think Kimmich comes in and straight away it's like he's been there all along.
Yeah, smashes it instantly.
Yeah, he's not what I think he's the exception to the normality of it takes a season or two. I think Kimmich is in that bracket of he's in and he's here.
Yeah. Right. Well, we spoke about our options. Obviously, the news is that City are in the race for Gabri Veiga. We'll have to see how this moves. I think we're going to get a lot more news over the next couple of days. We had a lot of news over the past couple of days. I think it's been non-stop since me and Hugh have been away. The news was absolutely non-stop for LB, just driving emergency streams and that. But that's the way it falls sometimes. I do see it moving mad now. I do see it moving mad for this midfield thing. But we'll have to see. We'll start to figure out the route that City are going to go down, whether it is this Gabri Veiga. But like Fabrizio said, he's just one name on the list. They are other options.
Yeah, man. All I'll say is I think July is going to be crazy. Man. Ins and outs everywhere. Here we go. Welcomes, exclusives, all that shit, man.
Yeah, I agree. Fahad with a 729 said, I've seen Kovacic's video at City. His personality is Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Yeah, we'll have to do a reaction video to the Inside City thing. They're always pretty cool. Where we usually do.
Oh yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that.
Yeah, we'll probably get that out tomorrow. Yeah, we'll get that done definitely. And Massum with a 2 says maybe throw the Rice 100 million at Bayern. I mean, there's clearly like 85 million or whatever it was, 85 mil for us to play with. So was it 85 mil? Yeah, I think it was. So there's clearly money there for City to spend.
Well, I mean, like obviously we're not football financial experts, but on the outside of things, on the outskirts, it looks like we've just got 300 million in prize winnings. We have this war chest. Yeah, we have this war chest that we spoke about for years that never really got dipped into. So I think the cash is there to go and get anybody we want if we really decided we were going to go crazy. But the club will be strategic about it. They won't go sicko mode and start offering crazy cash for individual players. It'll be about what's best for the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if we went and offered Bayern 110 for Kimmich, it would get him.
Oh yeah, I think we offered 100 would get him.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we'll have to see the way that we move. Obviously, Barella is another name that people keep saying. Yeah, that's it for tonight's midfield talk. But we're back tomorrow with probably more midfield talk or Gvardiol news. News, because obviously we know that City now pushing ahead with that deal, 85 mil, around that price. So it's good for me. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on. Fahad again with a 729. As Caldoon said, Pep /wants a small squad. Yeah, he always has done that, but I think us replacing the players that are leaving, it'll still keep it quite a tight squad. It won't go too overboard.
Well, if we don't replace all the players that leave, it's not a squad. It's not a squad. It's just a few footballers.
It's a couple of footballers on a pitch. We'll have to start by the new matches.
Yeah, man.
Right. Appreciate everyone who super chatted. Big up to Hugh being back from, someone said before, Hugh America. You're a fellow Hugh American.
Oh, if you want to see how I got on.
You've muted yourself. There you go. Say again.
There we go. I don't know what's going on with this video. If you want to see how I got on, the latest Big Six vlog is premiering now on the Big Six channel.
Ah, yes. Go watch that then. You get to see Hugh in America. Hugh hitting the States.
Yeah, you'll see. I think this episode is behind the scenes of our day with Fox News filming around New York.
Love that. So,
yeah,
go check that out, chat. And we'll see you over there. Big ups. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
In a bit.